Exactly, yes. These videos show why this so-called Ukraine has problems with its economy, problems with sanctions.
Why doesn't the Economic Forum yield successful results?
That's right.
You're not offended, honestly, right?
I am. Yes. Just a heads up, there are still some technical issues we're trying to fix them. Meanwhile, the United States of America has begun withdrawing more than 1,000 troops and equipment from Lithuania. The withdrawn troops will be replaced by a new group of soldiers, but the timing and number of replacements have not yet been confirmed. After all, the United States is still adjusting its military posture in Europe. This is being reported by Lithuanian media outlets. Lithuania's national security advisor to the president noted that Vilnius has received assurances from Washington that American troops will remain in the country.
We have Denys Popovych on the line, a military analyst. Let me remind you, Mr. Denys, let's check the connection one more time. Can you hear us well?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So we were talking about Ukrainian drones striking on the territory of the Russian Federation, what happened near Saint Petersburg, and in fact, about the results. We understand that for now, it's quite difficult to assess exactly what burned or what the consequences will be for the Russian army. Nevertheless, how can we comment on this from a military perspective?
You asked about what else was located at that facility in the Ukrainian state. There is information about 2 more ships there. There was also a shipbuilding plan, as you mentioned. But right now, we're specifically talking about the destruction of this small missile ship, Boyki, which carries missile armaments, primarily anti-ship weapons. It's known that those weapons were there. And it was also involved in patrolling and escorting ships of the Russian Shadow Fleet in European waters. So, in any case, the destruction of this ship, well, maybe it can be repaired, maybe it can be restored. How long that will take, we can't say right now. But the destruction of this ship significantly reduces the potential of the Russian fleet, the Baltic Fleet. So we played this very well for our partners. In the context of the Baltic Sea,
Now, our partners need to make a good move for us so that it works out well. And what, in theory, could that good move be? Well, for example, missile defense or something else.
yeah, missile defense would be good. Today we heard that Volodymyr Zelensky said he had reached certain agreements with Norway. Well, Norway. They hadn't been known for that before. Not for being unwilling to help us or for delaying their assistance. On the contrary, they've been very eager to help us. The countries of Northern Europe have supported us, and they really stand with Ukraine. These are countries that understand very well who we're up against. So we'll see what Norway can provide us, but it's important to understand that those PAC-3 missiles, the anti-missiles, are only manufactured by the US. I repeat this over and over again. Only a limited number of missiles are produced each year in general. There are different estimates, but it's between 600 and 650 units per year. I always point this out. Last time, 33 ballistic missiles hit us in Kyiv, and to shoot down each of these missiles, you need between 2 and 4 interceptors. So please, do the math. How many interceptors do we need? Ideally, just to repel even one attack. A single combined ballistic strike like that.
Mr. Denys, what do you think? What strategy will the Russian Federation stick to next in the combat zone on the front lines? What could change? Because we already understand that these are smaller groups, that this is robotic equipment, that this is, so to speak, a drone war. What else could be new? What are the Russians working on?
I think the only new thing we can expect from them is mobilization. There's a lot of talk about it right now. Although, from what I see, they're postponing the final decision. They don't want to make it, even though they're already fully prepared for this final decision. Only mobilization could bring some changes to the battlefield, because nothing else, no other tactics. So far, the Russians aren't offering anything else. What's more, right now, we're actually creating the conditions to start liberating our territory more actively. Well, you've heard about the strikes on logistics. Of course, these are deep strikes. These are mid-range strikes. And all of this, let's say, gives us reason for cautious optimism regarding the actions of Ukraine's defense forces.
By the way, regarding these strikes on logistics, there have been more successful and long-range ones in all directions. This includes Luhansk region, where our military are declaring full control. This also includes Zaporizhia, deeper in, as well as Donetsk region, Kharkiv region, and Crimea, the same annexed one. I'd like to understand what were the prerequisites for this. Did we do something that can't be talked about to make this happen? Or have their countermeasures really decreased? At the same time, for the Russians?
Well, first of all, their countermeasures have decreased. We've been systematically striking their air defenses. Basically, just like in the textbook, knock out the air defenses first, and then continue isolating the areas we're interested in. In this case, those are the temporarily occupied territories. In a broader sense, Donetsk region, Luhansk region, Zaporizhia region, Kherson region. From Kherson region, there's information coming in that we're working very actively with drones. Then there's Crimea, temporarily occupied, and so on. So, what have we done? Previously, we had tactical level drones that operated very actively within a range of 20 to 500 kilometers. Well, give or take 20 kilometers, creating those same kill zones that everyone is talking about now, which prevent the Russians from concentrating their troops. And anything that moves there gets destroyed. Although the kill zone works both ways, right now we're talking about the consequences of our actions, the actions of the armed forces of Ukraine. And we were actively working on deep strikes, that is, strikes that hit at distances of over 300 kilometers and even over 1,000. But this middle level, the middle strike capability, we basically didn't have until the beginning of 2026. So that's the level we're talking about. This is the level where the main part of Russian logistics operates. It's operational depth, not strategic, not tactical, but operational. This is where all the key Russian logistical arteries function, like this so-called Novorossiya route, as the Russians call it, which runs along the coast of the Sea of Azov through Mariupol toward Melitopol, in the direction of Melitopol, and further toward temporarily occupied Crimea. So, starting from the beginning of 1926, they began to act more actively. And since May, roughly in the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've seen the scale of these strikes. Now we're already talking about a fuel collapse in Crimea. And this is just the beginning. It's only going to get worse for them.
As for the south of our country, where there are temporarily occupied territories and generally where the fighting is happening, for example, the island part of Kherson region, what's the situation there? Who has the advantage?
Right now, we can say that gradually, and this isn't just my opinion, we've heard it from combat commanders, the advantage in the so-called small sky, meaning drone operations, is slowly shifting to the Ukrainian defense forces.